This is not good. Worlds are colliding.
We were smart enough to not say, Houston, there's a light out there that's following us.
And what the hell is that? You know, what is that? And I couldn't even talk. I was just amazed at what I was seeing.
This is the Beast of the Week podcast.
You had a lobster named Snacks once.
I did have a
But
lobster.
you ate him.
I ate that lobster. He was a snack. Yeah. That lobster died immediately because I did hold him out the window of the car as we rode home.
Welcome once again to an episode of the Beast of the Week podcast. I'm John Cannon.
I'm Sam Harris.
And in absence of Joe McGlinchey, who is bogged down with some stupid fucking work instead of talking about monsters with us, we have
Toria Ainsworth. Hey, that's me.
The spooky girlfriend of our spooky boy Sam.
I'm the spookiest.
We got
Thank you.
You're
two
welcome.
tropical people tonight.
Two
tropical folks, and they are sharing their love with us today.
Thank you.
Before we start today, I want to give a shout out to a podcast I've been checking out. I've been talking to the folks involved. They're really cool people. It is called the Happy Haunts Podcast.
Hi, I'm Lexi.
And I'm Alicia, and we're the hosts of Happy Haunts, a bi-weekly podcast about true crime and the paranormal.
Each week, we have different stories to tell that will leave you shocked and terrified.
If you like anything scary or spooky, and sometimes a little bit funny, come check us out.
We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify.
Find us on Instagram and Facebook at Happy Haunts Podcast.
Happy haunts, everyone!
Goodbye!
So for those of us who joined us last week when we covered the Denver International Airport, we stretched our definition for what exactly a beast could be. So today we are going to be returning to our roots, getting our feet in the sand in the tropics, and just our head was in the clouds, now our feet's on the ground. We're getting back to cryptids, and we're getting into some spooky paranormal shit. We are talking about the phantom black dogs in Europe, in the UK, and Ireland. They're all over, and they are scary.
Oh, guys, actually, I don't feel that well. Yeah, just real quick, and post if you want to cut this.
Oh no.
I see a full moon.
Oh no. This isn't werewolves.
Oh, my fucking piano turned off. Unplug my piano.
Oh, I unplug your piano.
That couldn't have been better.
You fuck. Anyway, so cut.
Sorry, I
cut
thought
that.
you knew.
Oh god,
But-
that's so good.
Wait. What are we talking about today, John?
I hate this.
We got the virtuoso Sam Harris over there. We are talking
you.
about the phantom black dogs of the UK and Ireland, specifically today.
Woo!
They are elsewhere, but they are very famously, as we will come to discover, in the UK and Ireland, which is why we have the most goddamn Anglican person I know, Toria Ainsworth. That's not
Thank
true. I
you.
know someone from England.
Yeah, I'm not actually from England.
Tori's grandpa was from England, though.
Yeah, that's
so.
true. He did
That's
come
pretty
over when
neat.
he was like 9.
She's only
Well, that's,
second generation American.
That's pretty close. It's not bad.
Yeah.
So with Black Dogs, it's not just a sick Led Zeppelin song, despite being a sick Led Zeppelin song.
I was going to say, looking up Black Dogs, I really, for a while, I had to specify what I was looking up because I got a lot of Led Zeppelin.
A lot of Zeppelin and a lot of Labradors. That's all I found.
Yeah, I
until
found I found like good facts about good dogs, and I was just like,
Yeah.
"Well, I'm not gonna not watch this.
I'm looking for the ghost ones, though. As far as Black Dogs go, though, there's a bit of, like, just based on regional legends, mythology, all this stuff, they vary story to story, but there are a few threads that group them all together, particularly the fact that they're black dogs. But it goes a little more than that. There's a few generalizations to help you get the picture before we start diving into the to the specific boys, the good boys. Actually, no, they're not good boys. That's the whole
They're good
point.
boys. Some of them, I do have some pointers. Some of them are good boys.
Some of them are okay boys, but we wouldn't be talking about nice dog ghosts. That's
Why
just
not?
the little guy that hangs out with
Henley?
Casper.
That sounds great. I want
Yeah.
a nice dog ghost. No,
We're the
nice
Red
ghost
Fern
dog.
Ghost.
We're gonna start 2 shows. One's hosted by me and one by Toria. Mine's like the sinister evil monster. It's the angel and the devil on the shoulder. Where you're like, there are some nice butterfly ghosts. And I'm like, let's talk about how Satan sucked the dick of John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm like the alcoholic ghost on your collarbone, just like, I'm falling off. Just drink.
As far as black dogs in general, the way they look, again, it ranges and there's discrepancies, but to get the idea, they are huge dogs, but as far as description goes, they say they go between a collie and a calf, which means they go between the size of a dog and the size of a baby cow.
I have a quick
Which is
question.
Yes.
What's a dog?
Toria, I'm kicking you off this podcast.
Oh no.
You're going to listen to this and you're not in it at all. I
Yeah.
actually edit in. I
That's
edit in
easy
Joey.
editing. That's
I edit
easy
Joey
editing.
from old episodes into this.
Yeah, all you guys, Joe, being like, yeah.
They, as is obvious, they have black shaggy fur, universally shaggy fur.
Yeah.
They have large glowing eyes, which if you remember back to the Dover Demon episode, we discussed what different colored glowing eyes might imply. They range from red to green, similar to the Dover Demon's orange to green, which means they're eviler.
The green or the orange?
The red. The dogs are meaner than the Dover Demon.
That's a fact. Because I think...
Because the Dover Demon didn't do shit to anybody.
Yeah, the black dog, I think, has a bit of a kill count.
And you never, you don't think dogs are scary unless they have what is often described of a foaming mouth and long teeth. These are snarling, giant, mean old black dogs.
I'm gonna disagree with you there. I was scared of dogs until I was 20.
Really?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Why?
What the fuck?
They
All dogs?
all dogs.
You took
they
a
would,
look at a
like, jump on me
terrier
and they would
and you're
lick
like,
my
fuck
face.
that. Yeah.
What?
They're friends.
That's good.
No.
That's
I do that to
kisses.
all my friends.
No, I ran away from them and they chased me.
Until you were 20?
Because they want to be
Yes.
friends.
You could almost drink legally, and you were afraid of getting a sweet kiss.
Okay, if I'm being really honest, it was more like 22.
Oh
Holy
my
shit.
god.
Holy shit.
If anybody needs a new roommate, I am looking to divorce my girlfriend.
No.
This is heinous, and I'm just gonna say right now, if you see me on the street and you're like, oh shit, that's Sam Harris from the Beast of the Week podcast. I don't know what his face looks like, but there it is. I can hear that sultry, constantly sarcastic voice. I'm gonna let my dog kiss him. You better fucking believe I will let your dog kiss the fuck out of me.
Kissing
well,
dogs.
now I will. I like dogs.
The thing about the black dogs is they're often almost reactionary.
They're not hunting.
No, they're definitely looking to looking for you to do something to them often. Although there is the cardinal story where I don't think the cardinal really did anything to the black dog. That's probably the earliest account of the black dog. But for the most part, they are reactionary. It's if you attack them, they are directly harmful to your well-being.
That just sounds like a dog.
Yeah, pretty much. Like these might just be black dogs.
At least in how you're describing it, it sounds like someone's just like, that's a ghost dog, and went to kick it and it bit him. He's like, see, I told you it was a ghost dog.
Well, more so than that. They'll definitely kick the dog. They always kick the dog.
Always
and
kick
it
the dog.
always paralyzes them. Pretty much.
That's very mean.
Yeah, but that's what these boys do. And I'm gonna say, much like Lucifer, I love animals, so I love these. They seem to be scavenging types of dogs, and they do deem to find themselves following people sometimes down alleyways. So they are very ghostly, but for the most part, not super antagonistic.
Well, there's some debate to be had there.
Oh, I know.
There's other stories where I wouldn't say they outwardly attack, but as far as how they're described is like they're considered to be like malevolent. They're not a force of good in the world. It's kind of like how we talk about with like the rake and shit, where it's not necessarily what it does, but the feeling it brings on. And these things will make you fucking afraid. And that's because they've been described to growl, howl, and scream, which makes me wonder if they're screaming as though a dog would, or if it's just walking around like, ah! And it's like, yeah, I'd be scared of a dog making that noise too. It would be terrifying.
I would assume that, like, have you ever heard the way that coyotes scream? It sounds like a fucking child screaming. It's terrifying.
I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of dogs walking around the moors going, ah!
I mean, that too, probably.
Ah!
And everybody around the moors is like, hey, get the fuck on out of here.
And they're regularly associated with the sound of chains dragged with them, which, like, yeah, a leash, but also, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
You got a
Very
dog.
spooky.
You see a giant black dog the size of a baby cow just going, ah! Ah! And it's dragging a chain. Bad already. And they, at best, are said to have bad breath. But at worst, they breathe fire.
That's pretty cool. I like the idea of, like, dragon dogs. That I could get behind that.
A dog opens his mouth and goes, ah! And you hear chains and flames shoot out. It's a bad day.
I don't know. That sounds like a pretty metal dog.
Cute
You
dog.
walked through the goddamn woods. Sam, you ran away from a fake dog in the woods with his head turned around.
Yeah, these dogs don't do that. They just
they-
go, and then
But basically, they're, as far as, folklore, like beyond logistics and shit, they're considered to be an omen of death, which is similar to, like, in the same area, you got things like the banshee and stuff. Like, a lot of ghosts in the area mean you're gonna die.
yeah, they do seem very banshee-like, where it's like, oh, shit.
So as far as to where you could find a black dog, according to the legends, I mean, you can walk down the street, honestly. But
I mean, go to the pound, support your local humane society.
Exactly, but to find a phantom black dog, typically throughout England, Ireland, the UK. I know Ireland's not part of the UK. I'm not going to get people mad at us over that. Typically travel along country lanes and roads. They have a tendency to protect graveyards. They're just roaming around fields in barrows, which to an American boy such as all of us, including you, Toria, you're an American boy.
I am an American boy. That's true.
A barrows is like a heap of earth that's placed over tombs, if I'm right about that. They're also around the downs, which is a word that we don't have over here, but those are basically just rolling country hills. Just green. They're like the Windows XP default wallpaper.
Take me home
to the place
I belong! But outside the UK, because as we're
West
mentioning...
Virginia!
Places with black dogs isn't just the UK and Ireland. You have all throughout Europe, France, Belgium, Italy, Croatia, Germany, all those. They're over here stateside, Maryland, Mississippi, Missouri, Pennsylvania, Tennessee. I've heard of some in Wisconsin. Over here we have the Dog Man, which is popular, which could be more of an Americanized version of it. You have them through Canada, particularly Nova Scotia for some reason, which I don't know. I've never been there, but that makes sense. And then down into South America, Costa Rica, Argentina, Australia. All these people have black dog stories. And speaking of stories, I think Sam has some accounts of black dogs.
So the most famous account, I believe, is 1556. Let me check. 1552. The earliest verifiable legend of a black dog, and this is taken from listverse.com. It is said that a cardinal, I believe his name is Crescentius of London, was busy writing a letter to the Pope when a, quote, huge black dog with great flaming eyes and long ears dangling down to the ground appeared in his chamber and crawled under the table he was sitting at. He called for his servants to remove the animal, but there was no trace of it anywhere in the room. Shortly after, the cardinal fell ill and bedridden until his death. For what remained of his life, he would cry out, "Drive away the black dog."
Oh shit!
Drive away the black dog.
That's it's fucking metal. For some reason that makes me think of that Black Sabbath song, Black Sabbath, and when there's like a shape on him and it tells him stuff. You know the one?
Like Son of Sam stuff?
So yeah, actually hold up. Son of Sam is a good point here. Even though I think that was a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was influenced by a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Which could be black.
That's true. Good point. Son of Sam, influenced by the black dog.
Yeah. Honestly, that could be a real world, like verifiable. Although all of these are real word, like verifiable.
The truth is stupid, Sam.
That could be a very modern adaptation of the effects of a black dog. Although,
so fun fact: if you Google search "Son of Sam dog," most of the image results are black dogs.
Oh shit! Son of Sam, black dog. I don't know. I hadn't even considered that as a tie-in here. That's great. That's not great.
That's
crazy.
Pull.
Many people lost their lives. It's not great, but
well, no, it's definitely not a good thing. But like in relevance terms,
yeah, absolutely.
Like,
it's
good
crazy.
Pull.
It's great.
Although that doesn't sound, however, like the MO of the black dog.
That's true.
I feel like the black dog often causes death to the person that sees it, or protection.
Yeah, there are a
Son
few
of
that
Sam,
protect it. Maybe it was protecting Son of Sam.
Not for long.
Fucking, what was his name? Shit, what was
Sam.
his name?
His name was Sam.
It wasn't his name. Yeah, David Berkowitz. Do you have any other stories, Sam?
Let me see. There are a couple of fun stories. Another popular one is the Milkman of Ellsbury.
Oh, the Milkman's always got the best stories.
Yeah, the Milkman's got that good shit, you know. In 1890, a tale was recorded of a milkman from Aylesbury who regularly took a shortcut through a gap in a hedge to reach the fields that his cows graze in. One day, he discovers his path was blocked by a large black dog with fiery eyes. And he was essentially like, not gonna fuck with that dog for a while. For a very long time.
For how long is a while they stand there with his milk slowly curdling?
No, he just walked around.
He's gotta be delivering cottage cheese before too long.
He just walked around. He was like, not gonna do that. There's a hedge. This is awful. He's like, I'm not.
He climbed the hedge and went over it.
Impossible.
Because everyone knows how structurally sound hedges are.
Yeah,
impossible.
I've seen Hot Fuzz. So over time, the milkman started to lose his initial fear of the phantom canine, and one night, when he had a companion traveling with him, the milkman decided it was time to slap this shit.
Slap that lad.
Yeah, he slapped the lad.
That's rude. You shouldn't slap dogs.
He took his milk bucket carrying pole, and that's why you probably can't go through a fucking hedge. Like a pole. Like you carry it on your shoulder.
Oh, he's got like the yoke.
He's got a yoke. This is 1890. Yeah. Cars ain't around yet, and he apparently didn't have a horse. So he was just like...
And they didn't invent baskets for millennia.
No, not for a while. Not until like 1990. Right around Nirvana wrote their famous album Milk. So he decided, I'm going to hit this dog. Which immediately...
It's usually the start of good choices.
Folks out there, don't hit dogs, please.
Unless they consent.
No, not even then.
To our furry listeners.
Okay, yeah, that's true. At that moment, he hit the animal with all of his might, and then the man fell to the ground immediately. He did, not the dog.
So he donked the dog, and he immediately fell over.
Yeah, the dog parried.
So I think we can conclude that this dog is made of pure electricity, and this man shocked himself.
He might have shocked himself.
It's a wooden pole.
With a
wood.
Metal pole.
Was it metal? I thought it was
It does not say.
I assumed
That's
it was
so
metal.
specific.
You're wrong. They didn't have metal in the
That's
1800s.
It's true. It's true. They didn't.
It's true.
He was left speechless and paralyzed for the remainder of his life.
That sucks.
How long was his life, though? Because what if he just had an aneurysm right then and there?
He lived as long as
I
milk.
mean...
As long as milk, so not that long.
No,
Yikes.
like a month. He had like a month. I don't know.
Well, milk. We all know that milkmen live and die by the milk.
Yeah,
I feel
milkmen.
like milk goes bad faster than a month.
And you ever met a month-old milkman?
No.
That's our next cryptid.
The month-old milkman. That sounds like a sick emo song.
The eternally young February milkman. Another quick story that I have here that's a little bit more fun than slapping a dog and then dying, although that's
pretty fucking fun.
That's pretty fun and warranted. A nurse was making her monthly visit to a farm near the town of Curtin in 1908. So at this point, electricity, metal, and it was all discovered.
iPhones.
iPhones.
Steve Jobs out there like, hear ye, look at this good thing.
They were playing Rush.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Fortnite. Everybody was into Fortnite in 1908.
Doing a dance.
Yeah, doing the fun dances that they have. As she was putting the children to bed, they were talking about the local black dog and asked the plucky nurse what she would do if she met the beast during a walk home. Jokingly, the nurse replied, I shall put him in me pocket.
Oh!
I'm gonna just put him in
her
my pocket,
pocket.
like Animal Crossing. After the children were asleep and her job done, the nurse started to walk home to Curtin. In the dark of night, she found herself being approached by the unmistakable figure of the black dog,
Oh my god. Was it pocket size?
which rushed forward and started to run in circles around me. Her. I might be her. I am also the person.
Oh no. Sam put a dog in his pocket.
Personal story.
Oh no.
As the dog cried out, "Put me in your pocket! Put me in your pocket!"
No, you're making this up.
No, that's an actual story. I got a bad accent.
The dog wanted to be in the pocket.
The dog wanted to be in the pocket.
Who doesn't?
Okay.
Yeah, the dog
That's
wanted to
fine.
be like, boop. Put him
I'm not about to kink shame this dog.
in the pocket. There was also a dog that was like, eat your ass! Eat your ass!
I believe that one.
I'm sure there's many dogs who say that. To our furry listeners.
Nothing wrong with eating ass, everybody. Next up, I want to say is there are some specific black dogs out there.
There are. Actually, so many regions have their own specific black dog. Which is interesting because it's so regional. Like, each one has their own name. Like, here in the States, like, we've talked before, like, how I feel like every state has their own lake monster and it has its own name. Usually some play off of Nessie, because that's in Loch Ness.
Yeah.
Like, in Burlington, we had Champ in Lake Champlain.
Champy!
There's Bessie. I don't know where Bessie is, but basically everywhere's trying to be Nessie. There's playing off that name. But these do not... Yeah, Loch Bess.
Loch
These don't
Bess.
play off of regional names like they came from the other legends. These things have their own storied history. It makes them a little distinct from other cryptids where you see different versions of it all over the place. Even with Bigfoot, like Skunk Ape, Yeti, it's like you saw the same thing. These black dogs have different MOs, different looks in a lot of their cases. Like, yeah, they're black dogs, but they look different dog to dog.
Yeah, different dogs.
And the first one we want to touch on that Sam's going to walk us through is known as Barghest.
The Barghest is I'm just gonna change it up because I did a lot of science in college, and if there's anything I learned from my professors, it's if you change up how to say something to make it wrong, you know more about it. Probably. So the Barghest is a mythical, monstrous black dog with large... I had a fucking professor that was just like, oh, no. Fungi? No. Fungi? No. Fungi. And I was just like...
Oh, it's kind of like how earlier today I refused to call Dominoes anything but Dominios, because I'm an expert on Dominios.
You're not.
Dominios.
Dominios.
There's not even that many
I'm cutting
eyes.
everything you say.
It's Dominoes.
No, it's Dominios. Fuck off.
The Barghest is a mythical, monstrous black dog with large teeth and claws. It refers to a ghost or possibly a household elf in Northumberland and Durham, such as the Cod Lot of Halton. So the origin of the name is to be pronounced guest. So ghost is guest in this, scripture. So it's a combination of Burgest, so town ghost. It's possible it's also Bargeist, which is bear demon. One notable case is said to frequent a remote gorge near Trawler's Gill in the Yorkshire Dales. One notable case is said to frequent a remote gorge near Trawler's Gill in the Yorkshire Dales. A ballad entitled The Legend of the Trawler's Gill can be found in William Hone's Everyday Book, and it recounts the tale of a man who ventures forth to the horrid gill of the limestone hill. So he rhymes, so that, note it.
Beautiful.
In the show notes. Type it in. To summon and confront the Bargus, an act of ritual magic. The man, he does die. He fucking dies. He doesn't do it.
Good.
He doesn't do it, which is something I want to touch upon later. Discovered after the inhuman marks upon his breast are seen. So, like, this thing he got shredded.
Oh, he just got straight up murdered.
Yeah, by the Bargus. Which, honestly, if some guy came up to me and started shouting off some ritual spells, like some level 1 shit, even then...
You would murder him.
Yeah, I wouldn't want anything about it. I'd be like, oh, that's an attack. What's that? Burning hands? Shocking grasp? Get out of here. Get out of
Evidently, this guy rolled like a nat 3.
Nat 3. And there's also a story of the Bargus entering the city of York occasionally, where according to legend, it preys on lone travelers in the city narrow Snickleways.
Snickleways?
Yeah.
That sounds like it's out of a fucking Skittles commercial or something.
Hello,
Incredible.
I'm the berries and cream. I'm the Snickleways fairy.
Could you imagine trying to be a petty criminal there being like, Oi, follow me down the Snickleways.
Like, oi, hey mate, you want to go down the Snickleways? Huh? You come on around these Snickleways, I'll fuck you up, bud.
See, now I feel like...
Hey,
We're outside of a British gay club now.
you coming down the Snickleways? Hey,
Sir, I respect your lifestyle, but I'm not of that orientation.
I'll suck your dick for free.
Oh, for free. Okay, yeah.
Yes, for free.
Let's go down the Snickerways.
I like engaging in
Snickerways
casual
does sound
sex.
Very sexual.
It does.
Just
These-
inherently
these are
sexual.
We always wind up at the sexual with the Beast of the Week podcast. We are a sexy podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm into that. I dig it.
Yeah.
I
Dig
mean,
them sexy cryptids.
you are you service one of our hosts, so I should hope you're into it.
I service one of those.
I'm trying to be clean and respectful.
Some nights it's actually servicing. There's no reciprocation.
Good man.
So one thing we spoke a little bit about the leveling of the man that went to go fight the Bargus. So I'd like to introduce you guys to a new segment I would like to call Fight Me IFL in fake life. So,
Oh shit!
Toria, you are a rogue. John, you are a cleric, and you happen upon a Bargus. I want to say, how are you gonna fight this little monster? It looks like a small goblin that is reverted to a were form. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna stab it with my +3 rapier.
You don't have
sneak
that.
attack.
Okay.
I'm going to pray to the good Lord Christ because I don't fuck with hellhounds.
All right. I'm gonna say, you guys, roll an imaginary d20 right now and tell me what you get.
Wait, hold up. I got it.
Yeah,
Hold
you
on,
have a
I
giant.
actually also got it.
I got a 2, Sam.
Christ doesn't hear you.
I got a 5.
So in Dungeons and Dragons, there is a beast called the Barghest, which is a large fiend. It is a shapeshifter, neutral evil, of course, as a fat armor class of 17 and
Goddamn.
90 hit points. So this is a pretty. You don't want to come across a lot of these. I think.
A beefy boy.
That thing's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, early levels. You don't want to.
Beefy boy.
You don't want to.
I've never gotten past early levels, so I'm gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, no, you really haven't. You're still
See,
dank.
the real
me.
the reason I don't get past early levels is because I get fucked up.
Yeah. It can use its action to polymorph into a small goblin or back to its true form. So it's not a goblin. It just looks like one.
All right. Well, I mean, that's kind of a thing. Black dogs are shapeshifters by the lore.
Exactly. So we're going to see how much lore we can tie into this. So it also has the fire banishment ability. It does know a couple
Okay.
spells.
So it doesn't like fire.
It does not like fire, apparently, which is inverse with the folklore that has fiery eyes.
Right.
It can levitate. It can pass without a trace, so it can be very sneaky. So from now on, all you adventurers out there, watch out.
The Barghest is out there, and I'm terrified.
Honestly, looking at this beast, I might add that into a campaign or two, because this is actually pretty sweet. And that is the Barghest of D&D.
Which is interesting, because here's something, I feel like we're going to wind up getting more and more into this. D&D borrows I wouldn't say borrows, but it uses like monsters like this heavily, particularly when they're in Europe.
Yeah.
But from that kind of folklore, like it shows up. It shows the cultural relevance of this, where these things are so ingrained into this culture that they show up in things like D&D. A lot of these are in the Witcher series,
Yep.
which is a really fun,
It is in the Witcher.
a really fun game, especially if you're into monsters, like I assume you are if you're listening to this. Like, all you do is fight different medieval type of monsters.
Do I have to bring up the Venn diagram again? Because I will.
Yes.
I will.
It's a big zero. It's a zero.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a 1-0.
the big zero. The people that are listening to this podcast at this point, this early on in 2018, are not looking to hear from their buds Sam, John, Toria, Joey, sometimes
I
Charlie.
mean, I might have had a tongue kiss there or two with Pat Nestor. Pat Nestor. Thanks for listening, Pat Nestor.
Thanks for your review, Pat Nestor. I was really appreciative of it, and then I realized it was just you.
Also, actually, I was actually going to shut him out, but I'm going to do it right now because I would love Pat. Pat informed us on our last episode, the original audio we released had a big cutout after about a half hour. And if it weren't for you, Pat, we wouldn't be able to say we had a last episode. So Pat, thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
Hey, thank you, Pat. I love you. Boston's
I don't know who you are, but thank you, Pat.
Boston strong, Pat.
Well, there's a couple other versions of the Black Dog other than the Barghest, such as I believe it's called the Black Shuck.
The Black Shook is of southern England fame, specifically Norfolk and Suffolk. The common physical descriptions are that it is roughly the size of a calf, with a shaggy black coat and glowing eyes. There have been reports of it only having one eye. It has been said that he appears before storms. Similarly to the other descriptions of the Black Dog, the sounds of chains follow him. It is said that he walks behind people while growling ominously. So that's pretty, like, ominous. Like, I feel like I would get that fun anxiety feeling, like, of dread and horror. Apparently, the Black Shook has been known to follow cyclists, so those on bicycles. Also, this one is known to be pretty violent. He's known to throw people down and break their legs, which...
He's the fucking mobster of the
Ouch.
Black Dogs.
I would say.
Honestly, Black Shook sounds like a gangster's name anyway. And
Yeah,
it turns out he
true.
breaks people's knees too. I wonder if they owed him anything.
They probably owe him their souls for some
milk bones.
unknown slight against him, their bones, yeah, everything.
I was saying milk bones, like the tree.
Oh, I was thinking
he might
like
want their real
the
bones.
real bone, because he can go bury it in the yard,
Fair
the
point.
graveyard. I'm not sure about the other Black Dogs that we are discussing today, but this one has a good amount of sightings, and if not sightings, at least lots of people wrote about him. In November of 1945, a Mr. John Harries was on his way, presumably on bicycle, because, cyclists, was on his way to the local Royal Air Force Base, and was followed by a black dog in East Dereham.
It's funny to me because we're all from New England, where every town name is just a middle finger to England, where it's like, we're not going to say it right.
Yeah, we're not going to
And so as I'm writing this,
right?
I'm like, there's no way I have this in my head accurate.
Picture this. The man John Harries is cycling on his way to the Royal Air Force Base, and he's getting followed by a black dog in East Dereham. The dog kept pace, stopped when he stopped, even when he was going about 20 miles per hour. When he arrived at the base, the dog vanished. Rewind.
Uh-oh.
That's pretty spooky.
Yikes.
Yikes, a Rooney.
Zoinks.
Zoinks, Scoob.
Zoinks.
In addition to this sighting, there was the 1577 sighting by Reverend Abram Fleming, who, Abram
John
Fleming.
just wanted to say Abram.
Abram.
This one's pretty neat. In a publication called Strange and Terrible Wonder, written by Reverend Abram Fleming, wrote It's Strange and Terrible Wonder, which this particular Strange and Terrible Wonder wrought very late in the parish church of Bongay. In his words, the black dog, or the divil in such a lineness.
Can you please, no, in an
Running-
accent, please.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Please.
would you like an accent?
If you will.
Okay, yes. This black dog, or the devil in such a lineness, God he knoweth all who walketh there, running all along down the body of the church with great swiftness and incredible haste among the people in a visible form and shape, passed between two persons as they were kneeling upon their knees and occupied in prayers, it seemed, wrung the necks of them both, at one instant clean backward, in so much that even at a moment where they kneeled, they strangely died. Now this excerpt describes one of the most notable reports of the Black Shook in a church of Bungay and Blyberg in Suffolk. It is said that on the 4th of August, 1577, the Black Shook is said to have burst through the doors at Holy Trinity Church to a clap of thunder. He ran up the nave, past a large congregation, in which he killed a man and a boy, causing the church steeple to collapse through the roof. As the dog left, he left scorch marks on the north door, which can be seen at the church to this day.
Fucking dogs always ruining real estate.
They really do. Scratching up the doors,
Pooping on the dogs.
Pooping on the carpets, scratching up the doors. They're just as bad as cats. It is interesting to note that in addition to these ye old sightings back in 1945 and 1577, coming a little bit more modern in the great literary series and cinematic series of Harry Potter.
I don't like Harry Potter.
I know both of you don't like Harry Potter, but I'm a big old nerd that loves Harry Potter. And so when you guys...
That just makes you a pop culture aficionado.
Yeah, fuck off.
The dumb bitch.
Harry Potter might as well be pop. So let me bring me some fucking Lord Dunsany, and then we'll talk about how much of a nerd you are.
Oh, fuck off with Lord Dunsany.
Asshole!
Yeah, bitch.
So when I was asked to be on this podcast, Sam mentioned, we're covering Black Dogs of England. And I was like, that's weird. Okay.
That's just how I said it, too. I just, holding coffee in one hand, butt in the other. I was just like, hey, we're covering Black Dogs of England. And
so I was like, that's weird. And then this was yesterday. And so on the way home this afternoon, I was like, you know what? I know a great black dog of England, and that is the Grimm of Harry Potter.
Oh, no.
Most notably, I remembered it from the third book, where Harry, as he is in Professor Trelawney's class, drinks his tea, and there is the image of a black dog in tea leaves at the bottom of his teacup. And Professor Trelawney prophesizes Harry's death at the hands of this great black dog. According to the Harry Potter wiki page, the Grimm appears to be based off of the Black Shuck of English Let's try that again.
Folklore.
It's a big part of cutlery. It's
Folklore
the
is the Guy Fieri.
Oh shit! Oh shit! No, we keep that in. Keep that in. This is important. So are you telling me that the ethos of Flavortown is folklore? It's not folklore.
Correct.
Oh yeah, no. The folklore of Guy Fieri, as it's very important to frost your tips, folks.
It is. I agree.
Hey, listeners to the Beast of the Week podcast, frost them tips.
Frost them tips.
Anyways,
Tell us more about your stupid fucking Harry Potter.
Yeah,
bullshit.
fuck off. Let's talk about Harry Potter. Let's.
Do you want to talk about Harry Potter? Do you want to talk about Harry Potter?
I would love to talk about Harry Potter. Thank you.
You know what it is about Harry Potter that pisses me off?
What? What is it, John? Is it that he's a little boy
I'm
wizard?
sitting there. I'm 12 years old. I'm sitting there. I'm dealing with all the shit that Harry Potter's supposedly dealing with. I got puberty kicking in. The girl doesn't like me. I got parents. He doesn't have parents, but he's got mean step-parents. But the point is, I'm supposed to sit there and read these books and watch these movies about all these people bitching about how instead of algebra, they're making potions. Why the fuck am I supposed to give a shit about their stupid little world-ending problems when all it is a bunch of kids in a better school than me taking cooler classes than me that won't stop complaining about it? It's like, listen, take one day in geometry and tell me how mean your fucking potions instructor is. Fuck you. Deal with it. You're learning how to turn people into reptiles. God.
Wow, you have a lot of feelings there, buddy.
These stupid preteen magicians.
Anyways, back to these Black Dogs of England. It is said that the Grim is an omen of death, which is reputed to bring about the demise of the person who encounters it. It is also noted that the Grim not only could be likened to the Black Shook of English folklore, but also to the sous vide of Scottish
The sous vide.
folklore. How do you say it?
The sous vide. Honestly, there's a lot of Gaelic and Welsh words in this episode, and if you know how to pronounce them, just yell at us angrily on social media how we're actually supposed to say them. It's cool to see how much J.K. Rowling was obviously she's English herself, but you know the amount she put into the folklore from where she's from into her work. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Even though she's a fucking idiot. Let's talk about what is it? Coin Seath?
Coin Seath.
All right. So the Coin Sith is a mythological hound found in the folklore of Scotland and the Hebrides. According to Scottish folklore, the Coin Sith is said to be the size of a young bull. Once again, big boy here.
Big old dog.
Big fucking dog. Shaggy fur, and usually cited as being dark green.
No, I mean technically a lot of these dogs aren't necessarily black, but like that the color of it is dark green, but at night it looks black.
I mean that does actually make sense. So it is feared as a harbinger of death and would appear to bear away the soul of a person to the afterlife, similar to the Grim Reaper. In this role, the Coin Sith holds in Scottish folklore a function similar to that of the Jesus, there's more Scottish words. It's a banshee. Banshee.
Basically the banshee.
So according to legend, this creature was capable of hunting silently, but would occasionally let out 3 terrifying barks. Only 3. It could be heard for miles, which is awful. It could be heard out even into sea. Those who hear the barking of the Coin Sith must reach safety by the 3rd bark or be overcome with terror to the point of death. It is also said that the bang was a warning to lock up nursing women lest the beast abduct them and take them to a fairy mound.
Do they take the baby too, or do they just want that titty milk?
I think they
Probably
just want
that titty milk.
They might eat the baby.
That's fine.
Babies
that sounds
are
like a fairy
delicious.
thing.
They will supply the milk if you are a pregnant woman.
Delicious.
Interesting.
Or actually, other way around.
No.
You will supply the milk if you are pregnant.
I was gonna say.
A lot of cryptids, a lot of mythology. It winds up harkening back basically to what was there pre-Christian intervention. which you'll see in a lot of mythology. And our next one is a very specific example of it, which is called the Gabriel Hound. So we're going to give you a profile for this first and then go into the history of it, which I thought was really interesting as I was researching it. The Gabriel Hound is from northern England, Lancashire, Derbyshire, Cleveland. I'm sorry if I mispronounced those. I'm going off of trying not to do New England, which might be wrong. The physical look of this thing is unique because, to start with, as a dog, it appears as a huge black dog with a human head. Picture, if you will, a huge baby cow-sized dog with a human head.
Is it a baby human head or like an adult human
No,
head?
it's just I'm assuming it's an adult human head.
How attractive is the human head?
It's also sometimes described as a spectral bird
Hey,
with
John.
glowing eyes.
John, I have a question.
Okay.
How attractive is the human head?
Now, the way this thing acts
Like, would you kiss
is
it?
pretty similar.
What the lips like?
Hold on.
With the lips or with the teeth, would you kiss him?
See, now you're riding a line that we're getting dangerous because you're asking me different questions, which is how attractive is the human I'm going to kiss? And is it a dog? Because I'll kiss a dog.
Do you not kiss dogs? Are you that high up
No.
on your fucking Lucifer horse, John?
My Lucifer horse is low enough for me to kiss a dog,
Well,
regardless
it's
of how
32
attractive the
feet
human head
long.
is. It's a big dog.
32 feet long. It's not tall.
Oh, God.
Could you
It
imagine?
is a
Could you
centipede
imagine?
of horses.
Oh, no!
You built a statue for an airport, and then you put it in Photoshop and just dragged the wrong thing all the way to the other side of the screen.
Yeah, use that transform tool like real bad.
That's horrifying.
If the Gabriel Hound, you know it's there because you'll hear these eerie howls. And it will fly through the air and hover over a house where a misfortune is likely to occur. Once again, whether you're talking about real interesting shit or Harry Potter or really anything other than Harry Potter, the black dogs are not a good sign. If you see them, bad shit's about to happen.
They're not good in Harry Potter. I mean, they're kind
But
of
Harry
good in
Potter
Harry
isn't
Potter,
good
but
itself. It's a double negative.
Oh,
That's
shit!
rude. That is rude.
But to fully understand the Gabriel Hound and like its significance,
You gotta kiss him.
I did. I died.
With tongue.
Should I
You
have
gotta
used
give him
tongue?
tongue.
Yeah, that's why you died.
If I get is that like his Sphinx's riddle, but instead of a riddle, you have to stick your tongue down his throat.
Yeah,
and
you
just
gotta
be like,
French
It says
All right,
kiss
you're
me
good.
with your meat, but only the right meat.
You heard it here first, folks, on the Piece of the Week podcast. Kiss your dogs with the right meat, and they might not be omens of death.
Yep.
The Gabriel dog has existed in English folklore for centuries, thousands of years, just like a lot of these black dogs. But this one specifically goes back to a lot of pagan beliefs, specifically being that of the wild hunt, which, again, I don't know enough about. I really want to learn more about, especially after this. But basically, it's a European folklore tradition in which supernatural entities, depending on what pantheon that you're following, whether it's Norse, Germanic, whatever, these entities will partake in a hunt that sweeps over the whole world. And in this hunt, they reap souls, they fight other spectral beings. The whole point is that it's a reaping. And the belief is that the Gabriel Hound would come with them with its owners, its handlers, who would whisk souls away into the underworld. And the wild hunt, to you or my perspective, is an omen of a catastrophe, something that happens that we just won't recover from the same way. And the belief is that those that encounter it will encounter a real world misfortune. It's not necessarily that you get swept away by Odin as much as it is you're done.
Really? Your poll was Odin?
No, because Odin's a big part of it.
Oh shit, really? Because I was gonna say there's an actual fucking dog that signifies the end of the world.
No, Odin in the Wild Hunt, he's one of the people who brings about the Wild Hunt. It's kind of like the Four Horsemen.
Oh shit, nice.
And so they come along, and the Gabriel Hound, before, it was renamed the Gabriel Hound, but pre-Christian intervention, it was led by these spirits, again, I'm sorry if I mispronounced these, Herne or Gwyn, and they would lead this pack of hounds, including the leader, the Gabriel Hound, and they would escort souls to the underworld, similar to how the coined Sith was a sort of a Grim Reaper. And what happened was, and people have been debating forever whether this is a good thing, bad thing, whatever. Point being, Christians came in, and what they would do is they'd co-opt these beliefs and these traditions in order to help people convert into Christianity, saying, oh, we still have that. And so they renamed this dog for the angel Gabriel, who hearkened in the birth of Christ, but he also will come about in the end times and will, he'll blow his trumpet, and then the 4 horsemen will come, just like the Wild Hunt. It's the Christian Wild Hunt.
Oh shit,
and
that's fucking dope.
And it's really interesting because this goes, especially with English and just European folklore themes in general, to see how these long-standing traditions get turned into the things that we all just kind of take for granted because we grew up in predominantly Christian areas. But also another very fucking metal point is that the name also could be derived from an ancient word, Gabara, which means dead body.
That's metal.
The Gabara hound. He's coming for your bodies. It still follows.
That's dope.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there's an example, like we've talked a lot already about how these things remain culturally relevant through Harry Potter, Dungeons and Dragons, but this is like culturally relevant in a way we don't even notice. So next up on our list, we've gotten a little heavy here, a little heavy-hounded with our black hounds.
Aww.
With our big black dogs, our BBDs.
BDDs.
Our BBDs. We've been thrusting these BBDs at you. And would like to give you an LWD, a little white dog, and that would be the Daisy dog. He's a cute
Daisy
little feller.
dog. So the Daisy dog, named for a cross-shaped plot of daisies on a specific dog's grave in ye olde Cornwall, England. The Daisy dog is the size of a cat, with a very cute laughing face, cute little pug nose, some cute feathery ears, and a plumed tail draped over its back. Kinda looks like a Pekingese dog.
So
however,
I think a Pekingese is technically just a long-haired pug.
I think so too, yeah, actually. It looks like a Pomeranian pug, basically.
Yeah.
it does not look like a Pomeranian pug.
It absolutely does.
It doesn't. Pomeranians look like fucking cotton balls.
Yeah, and then you throw that into a pug?
No.
How many Pomeranians have you tongue-kissed?
A lot, thank you very much.
You're afraid of them.
Yeah,
No,
you are
I am
afraid
not.
of. If you're kissing them, you're afraid of them.
I only ever kiss things I'm afraid of. That's why I'm heterosexual.
Anyways, this cute, adorable little cat-like little dog, his bite is fatal.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Imagine you're sitting there, you're in Cornwall, and like a little fluffy boy comes up, and you're like, "Oh look, a little feller."
Oh, look, a little fluffy boy.
And you're just like, "Oi, what is this right here?" And you go and you pet him.
What's
and
all
he just
this
gives you
then?
he gives you a little nip, and you die.
Maybe he just wants a friend, and so he bites you so you can join him in the afterlife, and then you can be friends forever. You can be best friends forever with this adorable little dog.
My cat bit me 6 times as we were recording this. Like, animals bite. Especially little fucks.
That's for
so
sure.
the Daisy dog would be feared by Cornish fishermen throughout the vast 19th century.
The vast century.
The vast century.
More
Compared
vast
to the other centuries.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, time is relative.
It's true. It's
Fair.
a flat circle.
Time is a flat circle. So getting into the history of this Daisy dog, it is said to be the ghost of a Pekingese dog, which I'm not convinced on that part, but I digress. The ghost of a Pekingese dog, which were sent by the Chinese emperor to Queen Elizabeth I in the late 16th century. It is said that the dog's keeper was a Chinese princess who was likely killed by mutinous sailors as the dogs were on their way to Queen Elizabeth I, and that these mutineers threw the poor doggies overboard. Mutineers these dang mutineers killed these dogs by throwing them overboard, and that's where the ghosts come in. There's no records of this mutiny, or, to be honest, the initial dogs coming over, but, that's fine. But the description does match a Pekingese dog, which weren't officially in England until the 1860s.
That's a point that I think is interesting, just because, like, in our current, like, the way the world is now, you can pretty much get any kind of dog you want. Like, you can go pick out a designer Japanese dog. That wasn't an option then. You had, like, the dog that was walking by your house that day, and that was it. That was your dog.
Yeah,
the closest you had to a pet dog was the one that stayed closest to your fucking abattoir.
Yeah, basically. Not slim pickings, I would say. Slim pickings on them doggos.
So the next up is I'm going to try and say this correctly, Gwaelge. The Gwaelge is a mythical dog from Wales that appears as a frightful apparition of a mastiff or a black wolf, similar to a dire wolf. So it's good size. Essentially, it's the size of a small calf, similar to the rest of the dogs that we've been talking about, with a baleful breath and blazing red eyes. So once again, similar to the dogs that we've been talking about. It is often referred to as the Dog of Darkness or the Black Hound of Destiny. It usually hangs around on lonesome roads at night. It can be seen as red-gray and snow-white, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a black dog here.
As we've learned through all these.
Yeah. It's almost mastiff-looking and has awful breath.
Which is good. Dogs shouldn't have good breath. I don't trust dogs with good breath. They're trying to put the moves on me.
It's true. They're trying to get you to kiss
Every
them.
time I take a dog out for coffee and it has good breath, it's like, is this really what you think of me on the first date?
Yeah, it just wants that tongue.
Now, the Gwaelge, I'm going to try and say that, like, for good one time. Gwaelge, they run in a pack. So it's not just one, multiple. They scream and howl, and they walk behind people while snarling. Regular dogs, chickens, cows, birds, those are all regular dogs.
Snacks.
Okay, yeah.
Snacks is a dog that I want at some point, a dog named Snacks. So dogs are absolutely terrified of it. Now,
I would be.
Fun fact, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle heard of it while staying near, it starts with a P, P-O-W-Y-S, Pussy,
Pussy.
which inspired him to write The Hounds of Baskerville.
I mean, that's one of the most culturally relevant examples of the black dog until Harry Potter ruined that.
Yeah, Hounds of
You're welcome.
Baskerville.
The Hounds of the Baskervilles is like... That is the black dog of England. Everyone knows Hounds of the Baskervilles.
Yeah, that's a part of the what's Sherlock Holmes mythos.
Yeah. It's a Sherlock Holmes story.
I mean, to be honest with you guys, when I was driving home, I first thought of Hounds of the Baskervilles.
Exactly.
And that's what led me to remember the bit in Harry Potter.
So you took a good book and then you
Yeah.
You ushered in a bad one.
I'm not denying it. I fucking love Sherlock Holmes.
No, it's really cool.
And the perfect Sherlock Holmes novel, so check that out.
So our next dog on the list possibly isn't only a dog, and this touches into, like, this is a bit of an elephant in the room moment. I know we teased a part 2 to our Loch Ness Monster episode. What wound up happening is we realized that every supernatural explanation for Nessie is an episode in and of itself. And we're about to get into something that we need to do a whole episode on. And that is that the next dog we're talking about, the puka, is not only a black dog apparition, it is possibly what is called a water horse, which is a shape-shifting being particularly popular in folklore from both Ireland and Scotland.
With the neck of a horse.
No, you're talking about the Huelvaman seal, which is a seal with the long neck, similar to that of a horse or a camel.
I love that Huelvaman ranchero.
But it's not only in Ireland and Scotland that you have reports of the puka. You have it in Wales, Cornwall, which is where the Daisy dog is from, in the Isle of Man. What the puka is described as looking as is it's either a black dog, obviously, or a black horse, or a black calf. It's not just the size of these things, it has appeared as them. It can also appear in human form, which is, again, unique. I mean, I guess it's unique because we describe black dogs as shapeshifters, so I guess we can't say whether that, like, they've been seen in human form other than the puka, because that's just an official report. It has eyes like burning coals, just terrifies me. Red eyes, burning. As a shapeshifter, though, black dog, horse, calf, only one of its looks. It has appeared as a horse, obviously, a water horse, a cat, a rabbit, a raven, a fox, a wolf, a goat, and a goblin.
Oh, so that's similar to the Barghest in D&D mythology.
Yeah, if I were to say anything, the Barghest in D&D is more like the puka, but no one wants to be fighting something that is named after shells on like a 2005 frat guy's necklace.
Well, I don't know. I feel like
Puka kind of just reminds me of the dog from Anastasia.
Fair enough.
Now,
because that's his name.
I'm going to take us off on a little tangent real quick.
Take us on that journey.
So there's something that ties into this, and it's not the coin Sith. It's the cat Sith, which is a fairy creature from Celtic mythology said to resemble a large black cat with a white spot on its chest. Legend has it that the spectral cat haunts the Scottish Highlands, and the legends surrounding the creature are more common in Scottish folklore, but a few occur in Irish folklore as well. It is a witch that could transform into a cat 9 times.
So it's kind of like a British skinwalker.
Similarly, yes. Yeah, it is, you can find more about it from the tale, The King of the Cats, where a man comes home to tell his wife and cat, Old Tom, that he saw 9 black cats with white spots on their chest carrying a coffin with a crown on it. And one of the cats tells the man, tell Tom, oh, this is going to be tough. Tell Tom Tildrum that Tim Toldrum is dead. And then the cat explains, what, Old Tom? Oh, God damn it. The cat exclaims,
You're doing good.
What, Old Tim is dead? But I'm the king of cats. And then Old Tom then climbs up the chimney and is never seen again.
He's just mad that he's no longer the king of cats.
Yeah, apparently these cats are walking down the road holding a coffin, and they're just like, hey.
Your cat's next.
And the cat in this guy's house is just like, fucking no, I'm not.
So the puka, no matter what shape it takes, it has dark black fur. So whether it's a cat, a rabbit, obviously a raven. Anyway, the point is that it is always a black apparition. Now, the way it appears to people and why it's noteworthy is that it's typically malevolent and demonic, which is something you see with water horses a lot. But what you also see with water horses and the puka is that it has been reported to be benevolent at times, where it doesn't necessarily straight up murder you, which is a theme that I want to carry on throughout this podcast.
Is murder?
Well, I mean, murder's part of it all, but it's the fact that the standards of the time, like we talked about with the Manageshi and the Dover Demon episode, the idea that back when in folklore, the only things you had to do to be labeled as benevolent is not actively murder people, and all it takes to be a trickster is to murder people for fuck all reason. Just like, fuck it, you're gonna die, and they're just sitting there laughing. And so when I say that the puka is sometimes seen as benevolent, let's understand exactly what their bar is at. That probably means it just doesn't kill anybody.
At that one time.
Yes, exactly. And like a lot of these, they're nocturnal, they're active at night. I feel like ghosts in general are nocturnal. And this is my favorite part. And guys, to all our bakers out there, all our fans of farmers markets, everyone who loves just a perfect piece of fruit that you go and you pick out, and someone loved this specific piece of fruit, and you bite in it and it tastes so good. I'm so sorry for anyone who encounters the puka, because reportedly, in several reports, in several accounts I've read about this, the puka is known to spoil blackberries.
I love blackberries, though.
You can't make a pie. Puka around. It's gonna fuck it up.
That's rude. That's very rude. What does he have against blackberry pie?
So while it's out there fucking people's shit up and ruining their blackberries, you can find it chilling around swamps, bogs, and lakes, which again leads to it being more of a water horse than a black dog, which is, as the name implies, the water horse likes to hang out around water. So let's go into times people have claimed to see the puka.
The puka. The puka.
Puka. The puka was said to inhabit a lagoon in County Wicklow, Ireland, and this is an old story, like that was where it was from, and that was before the valley was flooded for reservoir for Dublin, which means for the city of Dublin, they flooded this whole place, and now the puka's probably either pissed or psyched that it has all this water. And I'm not sure what year that was, but in 1913, nearby in Ballygar in Count Galway, Ireland, I don't know if that's nearby, don't get mad at me, Irish, a black dog ran alongside a cyclist on their ride home, which,
another cyclist?
Another cyclist. They don't like cyclists.
But
again, we have, it's true, they're always fucking clogging up the roads. Fuck you people getting exercise. But again, that follows their MO. It's in Ireland.
Yeah? Where is it?
Ireland.
I'm glad.
Fun fact. All right, Sam, play the jingle for the fun facts.
Do. We got a fun fact for you. Oh, we got a fun fact for you.
The puka is also featured in the Witcher series.
We're sponsored by The Witcher.
Oh,
I fucking wish we were sponsored by The Witcher.
I would fucking nut. Go play The Witcher. We're not sponsored by it, but
it's a great game. So There's one more. For our listeners out there, and I don't know if you listened to episode 2, Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwoods, but that was a lot of fun to record, wasn't it, Sam?
Oh, I had such a good time.
Wasn't it, Toria?
Yeah, it was great. I loved that one part.
Yeah, and so you'll remember our good friend in absentia, Joe, mentioned the squonk and how he felt personally tied to this creature. And I feel personally tied to the last black dog we would like to discuss tonight, whose name, there's a few different options, but the one that rings the most true is Trash. Trash has 2 other names. One is Welsh, which I don't know how to pronounce, but it's roughly Get Trash, or the Shagfoal.
Get Trash.
But with the Get Trash, that kind of makes sense because what it was supposedly named for was the sounds its paws would make as it's walking through mud, like trash, trash, trash. You know, you were walking through mud and your boots say trash, and trash follows you through your life, and everyone looks at you and they go trash, 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 and you sit there and you're sitting there and you're ranting at your friends and you say, maybe I can be popular if I take these rants about my insanity and bring it to the internet, and all of a sudden here you are on a fucking Friday night and you're going, I'm going to talk about a dog named Trash. Trash is located mostly in northern England and Lancashire and Yorkshire. Yorkshire gets a lot of black dogs. What's going on? Physically.
What's going on?
What it has been described as size-wise is either a sheep or a lion. Now, both of you guys have science backgrounds and I have idiot background. Is there a big difference in the size between a sheep or a lion?
I think there's a big difference between the size of a sheep and a lion.
I would agree.
I couldn't find any references. There's no Netflix documentaries on sheeps and lions, but
I believe that lions are longer than sheep.
So what we're seeing here is that Trash varies in size.
A long sheep.
Well, I've been told I vary in size too. It has eyes like saucers, so it's looking at you and it's got those peepers blinking on out of its eyes. And it's got a shaggy old coat and big old feet. It's like a dog.
With the horse neck of a long seal.
Behavior-wise, it screams. It walks backwards in front of people. Now,
it does what backwards?
It walks back. So what we got here is we got a screaming moonwalking dog.
Nice.
Hell yeah!
Hanging out in England.
Named Trash.
So I want to hang out with this guy. He's pretty cool. He's known to either guide people astray along their country route walks, or he guides them to the right road. So if you find a moonwalking dog out in England, 50-50 shot. You're either going to make it or you're going to keep watching a moonwalking dog. It drags a chain like a lot of these. And the thing about Trash is he vanishes when you stop paying attention to it.
I mean, can you stop paying attention to a moonwalking dog?
Point exactly. And you know what? Everyone can follow me on Twitter at moonwalkingdog because I vanish if you stop paying attention to me too. That's not true. I don't have a Twitter. So, with trash, you might be thinking, you got references. You have one of them in Sherlock Holmes, Arthur Conan Doyle. You have J.K. Rowling with Harry Potter. So you think that might be the end of our literature here. Not true. Trash was specifically mentioned in Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre. I'm not a literature man. But
Jane Eyre.
Jane Eyre. All right, so she mentioned trash in this excerpt here. I'd like to read for you all. As this horse approached, and as I
is this a horse?
Is this a horse?
What's a horse? Who's to say?
As this horse approached, and as I watched for it to appear through the dusk, I remember certain of Bessie's tales, wherein figured a north of England spirit called a Gytrash, which, in the form of a horse, mule, or large dog, haunted solitary ways, and sometimes came upon belated travelers, as this horse was now coming upon me. It was very near, but not yet in sight, when in addition to the tramp, I heard a rush under the hedge, and close down by the hazel stems glided a great dog, whose black and white color made him a distinct object against the trees. It was exactly one from Bessie's Gytrash, a lion-like creature with long hair and a huge head. With strange, predator-canine eyes, the horse followed, a tall steed. Nothing ever rode the Gytrash. It was always alone. Now,
that's fucked up.
I don't know about you
it's
guys.
Creepy.
But like Harry Potter, I get it. She's gonna write about the black dogs. She's writing this English fantasy story, and this is a big folklore thing in England.
Yeah.
You have Hounds of the Baskervilles, literally written because this guy was staying in the place that the story's from, and he had it. This is like
He had it, yeah.
The whole thing is about the dogs. And this one is just a throwaway part. No one talks about the black dogs in Jane Eyre, but it's an excerpt that specifically calls out every bit of lore about trash.
Every little trash lore.
Every little lore.
Trash.
So there's a good chance that these are just black, feral, domestic dogs. Glowing red eyes could be, once again, similar to the Dover demon caused by the rods and cones in the eyes, as in cataracts.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I think it's awfully suspicious that these dogs are only black dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention with the eyes, like we talked about, those the Dover demon. The ones that mentioned the color of the eyes were all in cars. None of these sightings we discussed were on cars, or a lot of them not even when cars existed. There's no headlights to make this fucking glow that we have.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible dogs have some weird color eyes. Like sometimes I look at my beautiful dog Yuki, and sometimes she's got like some nice brown eyes, and sometimes she's got these weird ass blue shining things. It could just be because she's a pug and her face is mostly eyes.
That's true.
But I don't know. I don't like that explanation. It is I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's literally the most boring.
That's not what we go for here.
These paranormal dogs? Nah, just dogs. It's just like that. That's like saying like, oh, we have a haunted house. No. There's people living in your house. Actually, no, that's pretty sick. But
you make
that'd be a
point.
good horror story.
You make good point with it being like with a haunted house, because in the same way that haunted houses and ghosts are written off, people write off black dogs in a similar manner, where it's just, oh, you're seeing things, oh, this is a story, you're exaggerating it, you're like, oh, you're from Cornwall, of course you have a story about this while you were there.
Yeah, of course you Cornwall.
You fucking Cornwall. But it's the same
cornhead.
thing, like any paranormal thing, any supernatural thing, the first thing to do is immediately say, oh yeah, bullshit. Same with black dogs.
Yeah, and that's like seeing things, exaggerated stories. You know, like I hit a dog and now I'm dying. It's like, no, that you could say that some people might even take this like karmically.
Okay.
Which I think by this time would make sense. I'm not sure when a large population of India immigrated to the UK.
From where you said?
India. In regions where karma is more prevalent than India, which I think references more the King James Bible. Yeah, I mean, it could be seen in that way, like karmically, like I hit a dog, now I'm paralyzed because
I did a bad thing.
Because life is shit, and I'm pretty sure late teen 1800s.
That sounds about the time.
Late teen 1800s.
Late teen.
Late teen. I'm pretty sure there was a bit of a depression going on in the U.S., and I figured that might affect the U.K. as well. So, I mean, I'm gonna go with the black dog. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm usually the skeptic.
Uh-oh. Sam's breaking character.
Black dog is paranormal.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think that's the only thing.
You're the main host.
For all these stories, that's the only common theme, is that it might be. And then you mentioned earlier, and Toria loves cats, so that goes in with her. And she mentioned cat ghosts earlier, too. There is stories of British big cats, like pumas and shit, that just plain aren't on the British Isles. But they show up a lot. You know, I totally get, like, seeing a big creature and, you know, maybe it overlaps with that cryptid. We like to talk about cryptids that overlap. But it's got a shaggy coat, it follows humans, it moves noisily. Anyone with a pet cat can tell you this. I mean, my cat's kind of got a shaggy coat, but that's not how a cat acts. You wouldn't.
Yeah, no, my cat does not make any noise until it's food time.
Yeah, until it wants to make noise.
Time, and then he screams in your face.
Yeah, that's what cats are great for. But also, one thing to look into, and I think this is interesting with cryptozoology in general, especially really old folklore and legends, is the symbolic relevance of the black dog. Because one thing is, like black cats, which I think is weird, because black cats, obviously, we all know they're bad luck and everything.
But you have one.
But I specifically got one because I love black cats. And
because black cats are great and they're not bad luck.
They're great, but it's weird how much that superstition still exists. Like, I thought it was just funny, like, people hate the number 13, and it's like, oh, yeah, I get it. People literally, they will abandon black cats. People will kill black cats specifically because they're bad luck. And the same as with dogs.
A lot of shelters will not adopt out black cats during the entire month of October because of that.
I mean, that's kind of like rabbits in Easter time, so I kind of get that.
No, I don't know which one's worse.
It's not because of people like giving them as gifts. It's
like witches.
Because of what
It's
because of witchcraft.
No, in Easter time, that's a big thing. Shelters.
In Easter time, it's a thing.
Yeah, because it's a cute little Easter bunny, and they give them out on Easter, and then all of a sudden the kids are like, oh yay, and then a week later they're like, oh, I don't want this.
It's the same thing with like puppies for Christmas.
Yeah, it's a cute idea, but the responsibility people don't factor in when they adopt it. With black cats, black dogs, there's always like this ancient association with witches, warlocks. They use them as familiars, which could be, we go back to the Gabriel Hound, it could be an example of Christians adopting these practices and these beliefs and vilifying them to make the pagan beliefs that existed before seem worse. But here we are, what is it, like thousands of years later, and black cats and black dogs are still abandoned, tortured, and killed. So don't do that. Yep. Do like I the second I showed up at the shelter and saw an all-black cat, I was fucking hyped. That was the moment I decided I was getting a cat. They're animals. They just have a color. Just go get one.
Just go get one and give it kisses and love it.
Only get a cat if you want it. Don't go get a cat because I told you to. I want to be your god in other ways. Another thing with black dogs, though, is that, and this is something I think is really interesting, the black dog has become a symbol of depression. And this goes back, I think, to the Roman poet Horace, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But he described, kind of depression and malaise and all that as a black dog. And this went on, especially in England. I think that's interesting. In the wartime, Winston Churchill himself described his depression as a black dog that set upon him. And so what this sort of does is mixes the symbols of the black dog as this omen of death and misfortune with depression, which is kind of a feeling of misfortune and everything. And that's a huge oversimplification, and I'm not trying to act like I'm giving you a full description of depression. But it's this general bad feeling over you, similar to what the black dog supposedly invokes in people. Which is interesting because all throughout this, it's an omen of death, it's an omen of misfortune. And we come back to this modern interpretation where it does the same thing, but from a more personal standpoint and less spectral. This kind of goes back to our rake episode, where is it necessarily a different beast? Or is it something that, you experience from time to time? And I've read some articles from people who actually really like using the black dog terminology to describe their depression, because what it does for them is it's a helpful tool where all of a sudden this mindset you have and this, the illness you have, all of a sudden it's not, a part of you that you can't figure out where it starts and where it ends. It's this separate entity that it's the black dog, and you learn to live with the black dog, and you learn to care for it and to understand what it needs, wants, and what you can do to separate it from yourself, and learn to cope in that way. And I thought that was really neat that people took this terrible, horrifying entity from centuries of folklore and turned it into like kind of a positive message to deal with your black dog.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I thought that was I really think it's neat when we're able to tie up one of these episodes with a very real life way to take the bullshit we're talking about and maybe apply it to yourself if that's something that, you feel you need. Absolutely. There's tons of resources for people, and you're not alone. Everyone's to a degree, everyone's got a black dog. Some people have a bigger one than others, but and there's nothing wrong with it, but we'll all deal with the black dogs.
As someone who has only recently started actually taming their black dog, I feel that.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? In Harry Potter, it's called the Grim, right?
It's called the Grim.
I mean, that, like we said, we mentioned it being like the Grim Reaper as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an overall sinister beast. But so yeah, folks, that's the black dogs of the UK and Ireland. If you have any stories yourself, and especially if you're outside this range, we know that there are black dog stories elsewhere. I know I saw a specific one in Wisconsin that was a little more like the dog man, so I thought we'd pick that up later. And yeah, we mentioned, South America, the US, Canada, they're all over. So let us know if you have any interesting takes on the black dog. Would also like to just give you a little prompting here. Go on to iTunes. If you like what we're doing here, give us a review, give us a rating. We're currently having a bit of a promotion where if you give us a rating or review on iTunes and on Instagram at The Truth Is Stupid, send us a message letting us know and showing us what you said, we will send you a Beast of the Week sticker with our album art on it, and you can put it wherever, and we'd love to get that out to you. I have them way too many places because I got them and I'm like, what's a surface? Slapping stickers everywhere.
Hell yeah.
I mean, if you like the art that you see when you listen to us and you want to put that on your stuff, give us a review. I'd like to give a couple shout outs here. One is from a Chris D. I don't want to say your full name on air just for your privacy. But you messaged us on Instagram. You left us a review. We got your sticker coming out to you shortly. But you said you gave us some really nice, encouraging messages, and I just want you to know we appreciate that a lot. We appreciate you listening in, and I hope you keep tuning in because we got a lot more to show you. And I said it earlier, but I'd like to shout out our good buddy Pat because he did inform us about some technical difficulties we had on last week's episode, which helped us make sure to get everybody the full episode rather than just weird spatterings of audio after the half-hour mark. I don't know what that was, but it's not... It was our black dog.
Black dog.
And it's not there. It's not an issue anymore, so thanks, Pat. And thank you, everyone who's listening, everyone who's new to tuning in, everyone who's been here however long. We're very thankful for you. Again, this is episode 6, and we already got a good listener base, and we're very, very happy to see that and very glad you guys are enjoying it.
Well, thank you guys for having me on this episode.
We're glad.
It was a lot of fun. I hope it was okay.
Yeah, we're really glad to have you, Toria. once again, this is another episode of the Beast of the Week podcast. We'll be back at you next week with a new beast to teach you about and entertain you. Hopefully with Joe motherfucking McGlinchey finishing up having a real job so we can have time for our, quote, stupid little fucking show, unquote, Charlie Pettit, end quote, John Cannon. So as far as our next episode, we don't want to make it standard practice that we key you in on what we're going to be doing, but let's just put it this way. For our fans of late season Office, we're all big fans of The Office here. Let's just say that Dwight gave us a great idea for an episode. So tune in next week. We got a bit of a Christmas special for y'all. What's that? The Beat Man. The Beat Man guides us. So from us to you, may the Beat Man guide you. Tune in next week for our Christmas spectacular. Remember, the truth is stupid. Follow us all at the Truth is Stupid on social media. You can follow me personally at SpookyBoyJohn on Instagram. That's JON. Thank you for listening. This has been the Beast of the Week podcast. I'm John Cannon.
And I'm Toria Ainsworth.
Thanks for joining, Toria. Have a good week, folks. We'll see you next week. So, is cream the only whole milk? It's not fucked with. Stop fucking with my milk, Obama.